Part 39. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 386. Chi Chen was suddenly very fortunate that the girl had fallen asleep and missed the picture of the private bathroom. Otherwise, she would have to have nightmares for a while like her classmates. When sending the song to the transcript room, the colleague in the transcript room greeted Chi Chen, "Their transcript, look at it." Although Chi Chen was a little puzzled, he saw his colleagues cautiously, so he went to the outside first with the recorded information. From the inside, the transcript room is just a small room with small walls. On all sides, the wall is a large transparent mirror that can be seen by everyone in the transcript room. Chi Chen was sitting by the mirror, listening to the words of Yang and colleagues, and looking at the confessions recorded by the students. At this point, the blue veins on his forehead almost exploded. These students discovered early on that Xiong Liping and Su Jiajia were missing. When they realized that the bathroom door was closed, they thought that Xiong Liping and Su Jiajia were doing that kind of thing in the bathroom. So everyone joked about each other and wanted to see when Xiong Liping and Su Jiajia would come out. As a result, everyone didn't expect that this waited for a long time. There was no movement in the bathroom. Everyone even deliberately listened to the door of the bathroom, and there was no sound inside. Someone muttered, "Drinking so much alcohol will not get drunk in the bathroom." The crowd then knocked on the bathroom door. However, there was no movement when he knocked on the inside, so two relatively strong boys simply opened the door. The confessions of these students are basically the same. The most powerful one is Zheng Tao's confession. After entering the private room, Xiong Liping argued with the boy named Zheng Tao and smashed a wine bottle on Zheng Tao's head. According to Zheng Tao's confession, Xiong Liping came out of the money for the party. Xiong Liping told some of them privately that Wang Shen was Xiong Liping's good friend. He had to give Su Jiajia anyway because he was lying in the hospital. Su Jiajia click on the color to see. And, these students knew that Xiong Liping's goal was Su Jiajia, so they also thought of creating opportunities for Xiong Liping and Su Jiajia. They all thought Su Jiajia and Xiong Liping were in the bathroom, so they didn't care if the bathroom door had been closed for so long. Xiong Liping is Wang Sheng's friend? What a fox friend and dog friend! Chi Chen gritted his teeth. When he finished his confession, he thought about it later. These students can basically testify to each other what they were doing at the time, and what they said to the people around them. Only that girl, no one saw her. If it is confirmed that Xiong Liping killed him, then this girl is the suspect most likely to kill Xiong Liping. Chi Chen's fingers squeezed the paper tightly. It is impossible for others to think of his thoughts. Because this time, Yang escalated into a murder suspect, and Chi Chen claimed that Yang was his sister. In order to avoid suspects, the Bureau naturally did not let Chi Chen participate in the case. However, the suspect, Yang, was put back to school not long after. Without him, modern high-tech is used. There are no fingerprints or footprints in the bathroom, and the door is locked from the inside. So this time, even if the Bear family has been putting pressure on the police station, it was finally determined that this was an accidental death that ruled out homicide. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 387. There are two cases in succession, each of which has something to do with the little girl. Those in the bureau were really impressed with the girl, and also joked Chi Chen to go home and remember to calm down. After all, the little girl went through this kind of thing. The most feared is a psychological problem. Of course, the people in the Xiong family are most unreasonable. They bite these students like crazy dogs, especially the words of Zheng Tao and Xiong Liping's party that they had argued with Xiong Liping that day. Who wants to bite? Yang was okay. She returned to school. She should study and study. She should sleep and sleep. The soldiers came to block the water and cover the soil. Zheng Tao's mental quality was not so good. Xiang Liping publicly insulted him as a country guy that night, and slammed a wine bottle on his head to make him kneel and apologize. These students turned out to be bloody, saying that he hated Xiang Liping and killed him. Zheng Tao has been a good student since he was a child. He has never been wronged in this way. But even if the Public Security Bureau found him innocent, his classmates still mocked him in private and laughed at him, no matter what he said or ridiculed. In his previous school, he has always been the class leader who respects and applauds the teacher, and when the teacher praised him, when did he suffer such grievances? He wanted to turn around, and wanted to use his own strength to prove to those who looked down on him that he was not what they thought. But rumors drowned people, and he was pointed and ignored everywhere he went. Those in the circle of Wang Sheng and Xiang Liping looked for his stubble from time to time. On the one hand, he felt that he couldn't live up to the expectations of his parents and family, and he must raise his eyebrows and exhale, but on the other hand, he felt that the school was too terrible, and he would go crazy sooner or later. In the end, his perseverance failed to hold on to his fear, and he called his parents about the transfer. Before Zheng Tao left, he made a special call to Yanj. He was bullied everywhere in this school, and he was not frustrated at all. In his opinion, Yanj was the same as him, so he called and sent his heartfelt consolation song, "This place in Beijing is too difficult to continue. These are all bad students who are bullying. The atmosphere is not good at all. I plan to go back to us to save and study. In fact, a good school environment is not necessarily good. The school environment in our province is much stronger than here. I think in fact, you can go back. Before I was there, we could also take care of each other. Now that I am gone, you are left alone." Yanj said, "I'm different from you, and I never feel that you have taken care of me." After waiting for Zheng Tao to speak, she said, "You tricked me out of school in the name of your birthday party, Zheng Tao. Did you think I didn't know? You said those people were bad children, and you joined them to lie to me and to them. What a difference." Zheng Tao didn't expect Yanj to have known about it all the time. He took a moment to realize this. Then he understood why Yanj would refuse him no matter what excuse he used to ask him, and said with a grin, "Originally you have got it, I was threatened by them at that time and I had to do it as a last resort, sorry." "I won't accept your apology," Yanj said, "you used to be my monitor. Although you didn't study well, you made me respectful. But now, you are no different from those bad boys in my heart. Sorry, the three words are meaningless, I will not forgive you." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Weipang. Chapter 388. Without saying anything, Zheng Tao hung up the phone. "If you do something wrong and say sorry, then what do you want the police to do? I have struggled for a few days in the title C. Although there are countless baby girls who want to provoke her, but her image has always been good, she has more people who pity her. This also includes her brother who has different fathers and mothers. This guy didn't know what the brain had done about her, so he would send her a message on time every night to ask her, 'How is today? Is there anyone in the school bullying you? Is the teacher treating you well? Does anyone want to treat you? Make a trip?' Yan Ji didn't want to respond at first. As a result, Chi Chen would call each time when she ignored it for less than 10 minutes. She could only reluctantly say, 'I'm fine, don't worry.' 'Please don't worry, she is a 10-year-old tree. This little wind and small waves is a fart.' But Chi Chen couldn't hear the words. Yanj responded with too few words, and he would continue to ask deeply, such as what he did today, and which classmates have spoken. So later, after Yanj understood this guy's routine, he always copied and pasted the words he had edited immediately after he sent that message, and then changed it a little to avoid being the same, so he sent it to him. Such a round, Chi-Chen is considered to have ceased. Yanj has become accustomed to his hello every night. Instead, the chick reminded the words, "Is your brother beating you? Do you have no idea? So old, I still want to talk about my beautiful and clever motherland. It's fine without him slap." Oh. When the chick reached her mouth, she swallowed it back. It felt that the hosts of the geek system seemed to give the wood too much self-confidence in terms of beauty, causing her to be a bit swollen and unclear. Yourself. So after a moment of silence, the cub said, "In fact, in the eyes of males, the most important thing for a female is not her face, but she still has to look at her and chest. After all, it is most important to breed offspring." He had no chest and no ass, and gave birth to a baby in the future, not even enough milk to feed the baby, not to mention leaving a little to taste the male. Yan Ji squinted at his candid chest. "What's wrong with being a little bit angry? I'm still a minor now. It's normal to have no chest, so that I can concentrate on reading and doing my homework. Otherwise, my eyes will be blocked by my chest, and I will not be able to concentrate on my studies. Sounds reasonable." "Oh." The cub slowly said, "Now kitchen, what are your plans?" "No plan, he is a policeman. What can you do? Of course, to keep a distance. After all, Chi-Chen is a policeman. After all, although she is very confident in what she does, she has to be a little wary." The chicken sighed, "You have to be confident in yourself. Don't say he is a policeman. He is a detective and he can't testify to you." "Yes," Yan Ji followed with a sigh, "but it was not because of the chicken, the next guy. It seems that I have no intention of approaching me. Is it because I have recently lost my beauty because I stay up late?" The chicken murmured, it didn't say what it was holding in his stomach. "Hemp eggs, this piece of wood can best divert the topic." It still keeps silently. "Chi-Chen, I have been driving for so long, why haven't I been able to roll over?" Fat June, you need everyone's recommendation votes to help. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Weipang. Chapter 389. The third guy has no intention of approaching Yanj. Fortunately, Yanj was not in a hurry. When she reached the second half of the second year of high school, she finally found an opportunity to do something on the guy's sports car. When the guy was racing with his friends in the early morning, the car rolled over when it turned. Fortunately, the car had good performance. Although his legs were disabled, he was alive, and he was still alive. In the future, it should not be a big problem to walk with two artificial legs. After all, his family has money, and this kind of thing is not a problem. This case happened to be Chi-Chen, who became the team leader. At night, driving on the road in the city, and the car was illegally modified, the speed exceeded 300 yards at the moment of the rollover, and it was really good to get back alive. The family members called the police to file a case for investigation, mainly because they felt that their baby hadn't had an accident every time they dragged the car. The one that happened this time was inexplicable. So the family members suspected that this incident was intentionally done. The friends in the bureau were really dismayed to hear such words from their families. Nothing happened before Dare to Love, so it can't happen? Moreover, this kind of illegal drag racing parents know that they never stop, but they are still laissez-faire, only to stand up when something goes wrong, this kind of bear parents. A bear child is born in such a family, and a bear must become a bear. This is the waste of two legs. I want everyone to say that it is worthy to waste one life. Because of this, although Chi-Chen took over the case, they did not bother. After investigating according to the procedures, they closed the case. But Chi-Chen didn't let it go completely. Because when he was monitoring, he noticed the girl. Although it is a silhouette, and the girl is wearing a sportswear on weekdays, the little girl in the monitoring is wearing a short suspenders, the root, but he still thinks that person is a girl. Even if the little girl in the surveillance was just a passerby, Chi Chen's heart was still a little stunned. He investigated the case. Of course, I also know that the victim in this case was also in the high school where the girl was located, and the victim and Wang Sheng Xiong Liping formed a small circle in the school that ruled the king and dominated the weak. A little girl, what kind of relationship can this kind of thing have with her? Although thinking at the bottom of his heart, Chi Chen couldn't concentrate. It happened that Father Su called and said that he wanted the little girl to go home for dinner on the weekend and asked Chi Chen if he had time to return. Chi Chen certainly has time. He also contracted the task of picking up the little girl. Although there is daily contact, and he always claims to be his sister, the two have not seen each other for more than a year, just like a stranger. In 1 year, the little girl not only grew taller, but even her facial features opened up, her eyebrows were more beautiful than before. He deliberately sided with a large number of hers, which perfectly matched the silhouette in that video. His doubts flickered, but he didn't show it. He glanced at the little girl for a few moments and didn't mean to talk, so he had nothing to say. How are you? How are you getting used to here? Well, Yanj answered, it's fine. Back home in the summer? Is your mother well? Yanj didn't understand how this guy could greet Mother Su, but still responded politely, my mom is fine. Is your mother planning to come to Beijing to accompany her? Or will she stay at her hometown? At my hometown, Yanj said, the middle-aged and old people don't like to run around. My mother stays in my hometown very well. I will go back with her in the future. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 390. You study so well, haven't thought about studying abroad? What's so good about studying abroad? I'm so good, and I'm good at staying in China. Only when I don't learn well, I want to go abroad to plate gold. What this said made Chi Chen slightly ashamed. After turning his words, he simply turned to the main topic, is the Bear family not asking you anymore? No, Yan Ji thought for a while, they wanted me to send a flower to Xiong Liping's grave, but I refused, and the class organized such a thing once, and I didn't participate. Then, did the students in your class embarrass you? What's the dilemma? Yanj always thought the little policeman was a little naive. If people live, don't they encounter dilemmas everywhere? Is there any solution? Chi Chen was silent, he felt as if he was despised by a high school student. What about the royal family? Has their family ever contacted you? Chi Chen refers to the people in Wang Sheng's family. Although Xiong Liping was hung up, there was a younger brother and a younger sister at home. But Wang Sheng is the only one in the family, although Wang Sheng's later treatment used the best medical conditions and the best doctors. However, his condition has always been bad, and as a result, the Wang family has always wanted to appeal, wanted Wang Xian to be sentenced to death, and even used the power of the media to compete with the justice. But until the final trial, Wang Xian was not sentenced to death. Wang Sheng's mother and his aunt came to see me once. Yan Ji smiled. Wang Sheng is still in the intensive care unit of the hospital. What do you think his mother came to me for? You'll see them when they come to you. Why don't you call me? Chi Chen's tone is particularly bad. He always feels that the girl in front of her looks pretty helpless because she looks beautiful, and she is too self-righteous. Where can the Wang family provoke? It's on campus. Yan Ji raised an eyebrow. The little policeman managed a lot. His mother asked me to have a love relationship with Wang Sheng. She said that Wang Sheng has always liked me, and what I miss is me. She also said that Wang Sheng can't drag on his body for a long time. She, as a mother, hopes that Wang Sheng will leave. I was able to fulfill my unfulfilled wishes before. She said that as long as I promised, I would go to school and study expenses later, my job, including money, as long as I asked, they would agree. Yanj smiled and sighed. His mother was crying very sad, making a bitter plan, and his aunt was also helping, but he was threatening me, saying that Wang Sheng has become so inseparable from me now, saying that I am nothing but if you have a snack, you should go and see Wang Sheng. It is said that Wang Sheng has 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses. I see Aunt be at ease in my life, and the people in their family are not doing well. Do Auntie think about others? After she said it, she looked at Chi Chen again. It's funny, no, it's because their son wants to have a strong daughter to do me, but it turns out that stealing chickens won't eclipse the rice, and now turn the dirty hat on me again. I think that even if girls like me do Auntie see the money open, they will promise them because of the guilt in their hearts. Knowing that Yanj said so, it must be the people who rejected the Wang family, but Chi Chen was holding the steering wheel tightly, heart palpitations, and the speed of beating was accelerating. He suddenly asked, "Do you know Zhang Zheng?" Zhang Zheng is the guy who lost his legs in a car accident. Yan Ji turned his head and looked at Chi Chen. She didn't smile anymore, the small slap face was expressionless. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 391. Yan Ji's black and white eyes were like looking into Chi Chen's heart and seeing his mind, making him breathless. He was suddenly guilty at this moment in her eyes. I don't know him, but I know that he lost 2 legs in a car accident. He is a student of our school and has a good relationship with Wang Sheng and Xiang Liping. Several of them are kings in the school. I listen. My new roommate said that some of their favorite girls would go to bed in turns. As long as they were fancy, they could escape their palms. Sometimes they would sleep better than anyone else. Our former high school senior spent it. I heard that several of them had slept, and they had also given birth. At the end, she smiled suddenly, her eyes crooked, and her face looked bright, but her smile did not reach the bottom of her eyes. What else do you want to ask me? Chi Chen couldn't ask anything. He didn't understand what she said. High school students, for him, are the future of the motherland, a weak and innocent group. He did not expect that there was so much cowardice among these students, let alone that the bullying on the campus and the gangs were no worse than the outside. Chi Chen didn't speak, and Yan Ji hated and said, "My roommate said that this is bad news." His thoughts were pulled back by the words, "Your new roommate, how are you getting along?" "Very good. She is a gossip girl who is very active and always admires me. Before moving to my dormitory, she also specially sought my opinion." Well, Chi Chen's doubts did not know why. After this conversation, he became guilt. Engulfed by guilt, he became more concerned about words. But the more guilty, the more doubts. His sixth sense has always been accurate. Such things as evil and evil are not reliable at all, and there are too many coincidences between these series of things, and she is the only innocent person who can stay away from the incident. Is she really innocent? He didn't dare to think about this idea. Rather than being unable to accept that she was really behind the scenes, it was better to say that he could not imagine how dark he should be if he were that person. He didn't dare to think that being a police officer for so long was the only time he was unwilling to confirm his guess. He could only be good to her, and be twice as good to her, hoping to pull her to the light. Yanj really has no understanding of this gimmicky young policeman. Are they not brothers and sisters? Is it necessary to be so enthusiastic? Even if she wants to sleep with her beauty, she can't be so urgent. She is so small after all. She is such a delicate flower of the motherland, and one of his motherland's servants did not take good care of it, even destroying her. It's so fake. Public relief. When he arrived at the Chi family, Sue's father showed off the general, first took Yanj to the princess-style bedroom that was specially decorated for the Yanj and took a look, and then said how much the house took himself and Chi mother. When he was going downstairs, he glanced at the Chi mother and Chi family sitting in the living room, and his words stopped. She turned her head and said to Father Su with a smile, "My mother raised me for 17 years and did not invite me like you do now. You just helped me to arrange a bedroom that I may not be able to live in, so I felt like a lot of effort. You really make me look." After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 392. My own daughter, probably born because of a small place, has been cowering and silent, and Father Su was still thinking about waiting for the relationship between the two to ease, and slowly adjust. I was too surprised to hear her daughter say this. He turned his head to look at in surprise, but smiled on the song. She had no meanness or anger on her face. "Jia, you." What Su wanted to say, but for a while, he didn't know what he should say. He sighed for a moment, and reached out to touch the head of the song. "Daddy has always thought of you, you are still young, and you don't understand many things." Yan Ji slightly tilted her head to avoid his hand, and she looked up and smiled at him. "At least I know that I am my mother's daughter, but you are not sure whether your children are close or not. It's ridiculous." His two cheap sons, of course, he did not expect that they would treat him as a dad. As for the immediate daughter. At this moment when Su's father looked at Shang Yanj, suddenly he had the illusion of chilling his back. He moved his lips and murmured, "Jia, Dad has no other thoughts, he just wants you to live well. I did really well before you showed up. I see Auntie stand here all the time. There are so many people in the living room." Even though Father Su was really sad and shocked, he had to hide his emotions at the moment. He smiled and said, "Your brother Chi, they have been waiting for a long time, let's go together." The words are silent. After having a good lunch, Chi Mu and Su wanted Yan Ji to rest in her princess room for a day and return to school tomorrow. But Yanj was unwilling. "Thank you for your hospitality, but I am already in my second year of high school, I have a lot of schoolwork, and I have to go back to school to do my homework." She looked really good and sensible in front of Chi's mother. Chi's mother has no daughter, so she doesn't object to Su's father bringing Song back. Now that she has money in her family, she can still afford to raise a girl. Anyway, when she grows up, there is more dowry, but there are multiple daughters at home. Also a lot of fun is not, that's what money can't buy. She heard what she said with concern. It's when you're growing your body that you need to pay attention to your body. You still have to take a break when it's time to rest. Don't worry about college entrance exams. There are your dad and me. If you want to go abroad to study, you can. Thank you, Auntie Chi. Yanj also smiled. But I study well. I can go to any university by myself. That being said. That is, Chi Chen, the second son of the Chi family, is used to the small pride of Yanj from time to time. Everyone else thinks that this girl is too conceited, and she is so conceited at a young age. In the future, there will be frustrations. That's good, said Kimu, a really good boy. Yanj smiled, I'm leaving, goodbye Aunt Chi, goodbye brothers. She left her own father alone. Chi Chen stood up when she went out, I'll take you back. After getting in the car, Chi Chen explained to Yanj, don't take my word for your mother. How could it be, Yanj said, Aunt Chi is also kind. Chi Chen didn't think Yanj thought so. He didn't start the car, but turned to look at Yanj, do you really think so? Yanji pouted his li after my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 393. What this said made Chi Chen speechless. Just understand, he sometimes felt that talking to this girl would always be despised. Today's road is particularly congested. After walking for more than half an hour, the road hasn't been halfway yet. Chi Chen said to Yanj, is thirsty? There is water in the back seat. Would you like to drink? Yanji shook her head, She wore an earphone and was listening to foreign words. Chi Chen was bored, and she simply picked up her other earphones and put them on her ears, joking, "It's pretty hard." When a school fighter has an innate clever advantage, naturally it has to pay a bit of suffering that ordinary people can't pay. What's this? I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to read a book and do the problem, and I go to bed at 11 in the evening. When Chi Chen heard her tone, she didn't seem to be complaining at all, she was like showing off. He deeply admired the little girl. "You are so good. My colleague asked me to learn from you. How can my son become a school bully? It turns out that your school bully is so hard. I'm stupid, so it's hard, but some people are smart and will learn it easily." Yanj said sincerely, but Chi Chen didn't think so. He and Yanj met only a few times, and the image of the girl in his heart changed again and again, so that now, he couldn't understand what kind of character this girl was. Although she doesn't know what kind of character she is, he feels that she and Ben are not in touch. The car has been blocked. Chi Chen looked at the route, and simply turned around to try to go around a small road. But in places like Beijing, once the traffic is blocked, even the small roads are blocked. Chi Chen's car was blocked on the road, he couldn't move forward, he couldn't go backwards, it was really blocked. Yanj asked him, "Are you on duty at night? Will this delay you?" Chi Chen shook his head, "I am not on duty today." As soon as he finished speaking, the phone rang. It was a phone call from the bureau. Several colleagues were injured when they were out of the police. Now they have received a report. Someone hacked someone with a knife on the road. Not enough. Ask Chi Chen where he is. Road XX, just across the street from Chi Chen's current path. You go, I'm guarding your car here, Yanj said, be careful. Chi Chen didn't hesitate too much, so he just opened the door and got off the train. He ran away from the street and headed forward. Yan Ji called Father Su and asked Father Su to give the phone to Chi's eldest son Chi. After saying that, Song Su didn't have much enthusiasm for this daughter. He was afraid that he would raise a white-eyed wolf in a way. What are you asking him to do? Give him the call. If not, I'll call Aunt Chi. Both Su's father and Chi's mother happened to be in the living room, but Chi's eldest son was in the study upstairs. At this time, Father Su could not hang up the phone. Although he was reluctant at heart, he also gave the phone to Chi upstairs. Hearing the voice of the boss of the Chi family, the words went straight into the subject, there is a traffic jam. Brother Chi has temporarily left the car. Do you have a spare key for his car? Can you send someone to drive it away? I see, let people pass by right away. The voice of the boss of the Chi family is relatively cold, but it doesn't matter if the song is spoken. Hanging up the phone, Yan Ji pulled out the small fire extinguisher from the trunk and carried such a thing in the direction where Chi Chen left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 394. A middle-aged man was hacking and killing in the street. It is said that there is a machete similar to that used in opera, but the machete in the opera is fake, but the machete in this guy's hand is genuine. When Chi Chen rushed to street, the bustling street in the business district was no longer the bustling of weekdays. Everyone who saw it fled, and a few people fell to the ground and yelled. Chi Chen grabbed one of the running men and asked, which direction did the man go in? I don't know, I don't know. After asking a few questions in a row, Chi Chen was able to understand that because the heavily armed police came, the guy who hacked people into a small alley, and the police had all chased and went to that alley. When Chi Chen rushed into the alley, he turned around and saw the so-called gangster. At this moment, a girl was being held against the police. Seeing the girl's appearance, Chi Chen almost stunned under her feet. How did this girl get out of the car? Yanj feels unlucky. She had just walked for a while, because the bottom of a manhole was crooked. For a moment, a man rushed out of the alley and hijacked her. She has never been hijacked by anyone, and no one dares to hijack her. This can also be regarded as being bullied by Huluo and Ping Yang. Don't move around, otherwise I'll hack her. The man was thin, but his hand strength was not small at all. Blood came out of his shoulder. Behind the man were a dozen well-equipped policemen. As the police spread out and surrounded them, they warned the prisoners, advise you not to harm the hostages, calm down, what to say? What to say, say a fart, Laozi is not good, and no one should think about it. Killing one is enough, killing two makes one. Laozi is still a good man in his next life. Song of the car, fire extinguisher in hand. It seems that everyone ignored her. Brother, Yanj said, those who kill people cannot be reincarnated and reborn. They will be beaten into 18 floors of hell, and they will suffer from Ling Kai's frying all the time. Shut up. The man bowed his head and sang, I talk again and I'll kill you. Yan Ji moved at this time. She pinched the man's wrist with one hand, slid down against the man's chest, avoiding the big knife, and the fire extinguisher on the other hand hit the man's leg with a bend. The policeman rushed at this moment, and Yan Ji's fire extinguisher continued to hit the man who fell to the ground. It wasn't until the police rushed forward that Yanj took a step back, and just about to turn around, Chi Chen took her into her arms, holding gauze in one hand and holding the wound on her neck. He hugged her tightly, obviously fiercely as if he was going to swear at the next song, but his teeth were biting, but he didn't say a word. Still, Yanj was about to be breathless from his arm, and reached out to pat him. I'm fine. He was interrupted without saying, don't talk, don't move. He had a quick tone, and even a tremolo. The victim was clearly speaking, but it was him who was scared. Yanj interrupted him, the wound is not deep, shallow, and not serious. Chi Chen didn't listen to her. He half-assisted Yanj and walked to the side of the ambulance. The nurse and doctor approached Yanj's wounds. It is on the neck and on the wrist. The machete is very sharp, and the wound will be deep if you pull it. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 395. Just now I didn't notice that I was hurt, and when I was bandaged by the nurse, Yanj felt sore. Chi Chen probably recovered his thoughts, chilling aside and reprimanding, let you not get off the car, what are you going about, what are you talking about with the gangsters, what can you do, you think you are an Iron Man. Yanj retorted, Iron Man is so ugly, even if I am a fantasy, I am a Black Widow as a fantasy object. Chi Chen spoke for a long time, but he didn't expect that this girl only heard such a sentence, and he was so angry that he sang. A policewoman stepped forward and patted Yan Ji's shoulders, praising, it's good, but the gangster is a man after all, he has more strength. In the future, if he encounters this kind of thing, he can't take the initiative to challenge him. Yan Ji nodded nicely, well, I will. There is no future, the policewoman said with a smile, this kind of thing will happen once. I hope you will never encounter it in the future. Yan Ji also smiled and nodded, I hope that this kind of thing, sisters will not encounter it, it is too scary, it is too dangerous to be a police officer. Although Yanj's wound was deep, she didn't need a needle. After the nurse bandaged, she suggested Yanj go to the hospital again. Chi Chen said nothing and walked towards the car with Yanj's hand. After this walk, Yan Ji found that his leg was a little painful, and Yan Ji's foot was awkwardly struck by Chi Chen. Yan Ji pushed him a few times and failed to push people away, but also angrily, can't you do that, I won't be indifferent. Chi Chen stared down and stared at the song. The look was fierce, and his expression was a little stingy. Why does this guy look at the gangster's expression? Yanj slaps his lips, and intends the villain to ignore the adults. After all, there is nothing to care about with this kind of old bacon. People are old and have no girlfriends, and the anger is normal. I was thinking about you when you leave. I didn't get anything at hand, so I went to get you a fire extinguisher. You're better. If you didn't catch someone, you would blame me. Her voice was indignant. With the girl's unique tenderness, Chi Chen held her hand tighter. She's okay. Hey, Yan Ji swallowed her words, as she looked up and realized that Chi Chen was looking at her at the moment. How to say, it was weird. Have you ever practiced Taekwondo? Chi Chen asked. A few words without a word. The few moments you subdued the gangsters didn't seem to be messing around. I have been practicing since I was a child, Yanj said. You know the situation in our family, only me and my mother. My mother is afraid that I will be bullied, and no one will help me out, so other girls are practicing. When I dance, I am practicing martial arts. The two continued to move forward and took a few steps. Chi Chen suddenly asked the song again. Since you don't like Wang Sheng, why always chat with him on WeChat? Although his voice was low, he heard all the words in his ears. She looked up and looked at Chi Chen in surprise. Are you doubting me? She asked sharply, and even looked at Chi Chen with a sense of irony. Are you afraid of thunder and thunder like this? As soon as Chi Chen's suspicions rose, the girl's injured gaze dispelled the stunned smoke. In fact, he didn't really want to ask her about it, he just wanted to suppress the terrible thoughts in his heart.